insects, running water, and vegetation. But what happened to the fish? Almost 150 years ago, this very river and many other creeks and rivers like it would flow into the Great Lake Ontario. It wasn't just water that flowed into this Great Lake, but also Atlantic salmon. As European settlement began to reach its peak, a seemingly infinite resource quickly reached the point of extinction. The vast forests and valleys of Ontario did not make for an easy establishment, but the many creeks and rivers flooded with Atlantic salmon allowed the Europeans to sustain themselves throughout development. As shelters for people, industrial buildings and other structures were in the process of development. Trees and habitats were being destroyed. Lake Ontario once had the greatest freshwater population of Atlantic salmon in the world, and pretty much every stream on the north shore of Lake Ontario had a population of Atlantic salmon. Atlantic salmon are great jumpers. They can jump up to 10 feet at a time to get over small waterfalls. But these dams were much taller than that and prevented the salmon from getting back to their habitat to lay their eggs. People depended on them as a major food source throughout the year. There are some stories of Atlantic salmon would be caught in groups of 10,000.
First of all, we're raising Atlantic salmon in hatcheries. So we have to actually put the fish back into the streams, and then they grow up there and then move out to the lake. We have 3 strains of Atlantic salmon that are all one way or another related to the old Lake Ontario population. So they all come from other places in North America, and we have those parent fish in a hatchery, and each year they produce the eggs that we use to grow these fish that we then release. What we're doing is continuing to do habitat work. There's been a lot of work done already over the last 40 years, and that's why we're able to bring them back, because we do have cold water streams again, but we need to keep improving that habitat and protecting what good habitat we have brought back. So we do all sorts of habitat projects, from tree plantings to erosion control to removing some of the barriers that are still in the streams, and putting some of the rocky habitat back into the streams that the fish need.
Last 5 years, it's almost no fish, just catfish. Before was pike, some fish, a lot of kind, even bass, but this is gone. Yeah. And the other thing I see here is, before was very polluted. Now it's better. Somebody is taking care. Yeah.
A lot of education and outreach. Because Atlantic salmon have been gone for about more than 110 years from Lake Ontario, people have forgotten about them, or they may have come to Canada after Atlantic salmon were already gone, so they never knew they were here in Lake Ontario and how important they were. So we have to not only reintroduce the fish back to the lake, but we also have to reintroduce the fish back to the people to know that they are part of the natural heritage of Ontario, and it's a good news story to have them back.
Okay, great.